He was healthy, he was happy, he was on vacation with his daughter, and now he's gone. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the beloved actor who played Theo on The Cosby Show, drowned in what the media calls a tragic accident. But people close to the industry aren't buying it, especially not Katt Williams. For years, Katt's been warning us, if you don't play Hollywood's game, they'll make you disappear. And when you look at Malcolm's life, those warnings hit different. He didn't chase fame. He turned down roles that made black men look like jokes. He stayed true to himself, and the price was silence. Now, after years of being ignored, Hollywood is suddenly calling him a legend? Why now? Why only after he passed? Katt Williams says it's not a coincidence, and when you follow the pattern, it starts to make sense. But that wasn't the whole story, because what came next exposed something even darker. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing wasn't just unexpected, it was deeply unsettling. According to reports, he died while swimming with his 8-year-old daughter off the coast of Costa Rica. They were on a quiet family vacation in Lemon, a place known for its beauty, but also for deadly rip currents. That day, there were no lifeguards on duty. Local officials said resources had been shifted to other beaches after recent accidents, leaving this one unguarded.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
Surfers nearby saw Malcolm and his daughter struggling in the water. One brave surfer pulled the girl to safety. Another tried to help Malcolm, but by the time first responders arrived, it was too late. The official cause of death? Asphyxia from submersion, drowning. His autopsy confirmed it. No drugs, no foul play, just an accident, they said.
Rican Beach, where officials say a dangerous rip current swept away Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the Cosby Show star, drowning in secluded paradise on Sunday.
What makes that beach so treacherous?
You know, it's similar to other beaches where there are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water. Costa Rica's Red Cross says they were able to rescue another man alive who was taken to a clinic in critical condition.
Costa Rica, Jesse, officials say Warner's autopsy is now complete.
It was completed this morning, according to authorities, Tom, and they say that it confirmed that Warner's drowning death was in fact an accident.
But the details raise questions. Malcolm was known to be cautious and in excellent health. He wasn't reckless. So how did someone like him, a man who avoided danger, a father who lived for his family, end up caught in such a nightmare scenario? The beach was marked with warning signs in both English and Spanish. Locals knew about the current, yet somehow no one stepped in until it was almost over. And just like that, a healthy, thriving 54-year-old man was gone in seconds. Was it really just bad luck, or was it the result of something deeper, something that started long before that day in Costa Rica? Because what happened in the water may not be the most suspicious part of this story, and what happened next would shock everyone. For years, Katt Williams has been warning anyone who would listen. Hollywood doesn't just reject people who speak out, it punishes them, especially when you're a black entertainer who refuses to play along. Katt didn't just make vague claims. He gave examples, dropped names, and laid out how the game really works. And when you compare his words to Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life, the pattern is hard to ignore.
Some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Madea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people like us.
Katt talked about how entertainers who say no get labeled as difficult, crazy, or washed up. He said the industry rewards silence and obedience, but if you resist, you get ghosted.
There has never been a person that has been parodied 9 times on Saturday Night Live and yet never been invited other than me. I, at this point, take it as a badge of honor that they don't fuck with me. a lot of times when people are doing an impression of you, they're really showing you how they feel about you. You know what I mean? So for Saturday Night Live to have an impression of me and have a woman do that means they think I'm a bitch. And I understand that that's what they're saying when they do that. I understand how the game goes, and I understand that if you love me, I know why you do. And if you don't with me, I understand why.
Malcolm didn't wear dresses. He didn't do the loud, goofy roles that made fun of black men. He turned down the checks, the costumes, and the clown acts. And because of that, Hollywood quietly shut the door on him. Katt once said, "Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against them at our own risk." He didn't mean it as a wild theory. He meant that when you don't play the game, they make sure you pay for it. Look at Dave Chappelle. Same story. He left the industry, and they called him crazy. Katt said it himself. When you speak out, the press drags you, and the system makes you disappear. Now ask yourself, wasn't Malcolm's career quietly erased in the same way? He went from being one of the most recognizable faces on TV to almost invisible, not because he lost his talent, but because he wouldn't bow down. And Katt's message? That silence isn't just personal, it's intentional. Hollywood doesn't forget you, it chooses to erase you. But that was only the beginning, because what Malcolm refused to do next sealed his fate even further. Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't fall off. He walked away from the spotlight, from the industry's twisted rules, and from roles that tried to shrink him. After The Cosby Show, he could have taken the easy route, loud sitcoms, slapstick comedies, or dressing up for a few laughs. But he didn't, because Malcolm believed in something bigger than fame. He refused to play the fool. No dresses, no fat suits, no clown behavior. While others were cashing in on caricatures, Malcolm was saying no, even when it meant losing money and exposure. He didn't want to be the punchline. He wanted to represent something real, a strong, layered black man who didn't need to act like a joke just to be seen. That kind of stand doesn't go unnoticed in Hollywood, and it definitely doesn't get rewarded. Behind the scenes, he was being told he was too serious, not marketable, and hard to cast. Translation, he wasn't willing to humiliate himself, and the industry doesn't like that. They want safe, they want silly, and they want control. Malcolm didn't give them that, and the result? Fewer roles, fewer invites, and a slow fade from the spotlight. Not because he lost talent, but because he kept his integrity. Katt Williams calls it the humiliation ritual, when actors are pushed to compromise their dignity for laughs or approval. Malcolm wasn't having it, and that quiet refusal, it cost him everything in Hollywood. But it also revealed everything about how the system really works. But if you thought that was the only reason the industry turned its back on him, just wait, because what happened after his death made the truth even clearer. While Malcolm-Jamal Warner was alive, most of the industry barely acknowledged him. He wasn't headlining big-budget films or trending on award show red carpets. In fact, for years, the media acted like he'd just faded away. But the second he passed, everything changed. Suddenly, everyone had something nice to say. Tributes started flooding in. Celebrities called him a legend. Networks praised his underrated genius. Social media posts poured out with heartfelt messages. Streaming platforms even started promoting unseen projects with his name attached. But here's the thing, where was all this energy before? When Malcolm was doing powerful work on stage, writing thoughtful op-eds and producing meaningful projects, barely anyone talked about him. Hollywood didn't celebrate him then. They ignored him. Now that he's gone, he's become the safe black icon to honor. No risk, no resistance, no voice to challenge the narrative, just a symbol they can use for their own image. Katt Williams warned us about this too. He said the industry won't lift you while you're alive unless they can control the narrative. Once you're gone and can't speak out or fight back, they clean up the story and make it brand friendly. That's exactly what happened here. They didn't just remember Malcolm, they repurposed him. But this wasn't just about fame or legacy, because Malcolm didn't just say no to roles, he openly criticized the system itself, and that made him even more dangerous to Hollywood's agenda. Malcolm didn't just turn down roles, he spoke out against the machine behind them. He called out the way Hollywood tries to squeeze all black stories into one stereotype. He said flat out, "We're not all hood," and that message didn't sit well with the industry. In a powerful op-ed, he exposed how white execs, writers, and directors still control how black people are shown on TV. Even when they allow diversity, the same harmful patterns continue. The clothes may change, but the message stays the same. Malcolm didn't stay quiet. He launched his own podcast, chose socially conscious projects, and focused on education and justice. He wanted to show real black life, not the one Hollywood sells. But standing for something real meant losing support, and Hollywood slowly pushed him out. He wasn't forgotten, he was filtered out. But Malcolm's rejection of the system didn't stop there, because he also had some harsh truths for the music world too. Malcolm didn't hold back when it came to hip-hop either. He openly criticized the genre's obsession with violence, the N-word, and how women are portrayed. He said what many were too scared to admit: our music at times has become anti-black. He even stopped listening to some of his favorite artists, like J. Cole, because he couldn't get past the constant use of degrading language. For Malcolm, it wasn't just about lyrics, it was about impact. He questioned how we can claim empowerment while using words that once came from hate.
There should be a moratorium on both of those words in hip-hop because it's low-lying fruit, it's so easy, everybody fucking does it, to the point that it's corny. Like there are MCs who I love, who I cannot listen to anymore because I love J. Cole, but I had to stop listening to J. Cole because I got tired of hearing nigga and bitch
as much
every
as
2 sentences because he's proven himself to be such a incredible lyricist
that you think it's just too low-hanging fruit for him to use those words.
I feel like
when the Kendrick versus Drake beef went viral, Malcolm didn't celebrate. He called it out, saying the culture only seems to pay attention when there's drama, not when there's growth. He wanted better for the community, better art, better messages, better respect. And that mindset didn't make him popular in entertainment circles. It made him dangerous to an industry that profits off negativity. But this integrity, it wasn't an act. It showed in every part of his life. Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't just talk the talk, he lived it. While many in Hollywood chased headlines, he chose peace, privacy, and purpose. He was a Grammy-winning musician, a respected poet, and an Emmy-nominated actor. But more than that, he was a loyal husband, a devoted father, and a man who never needed the spotlight to validate him. He had no public scandals, no messy breakups, no headlines for the wrong reasons. He stayed grounded in an industry built on chaos. And when he became a father, he made it clear raising his daughter with love and maturity was his proudest role.
So even before conception, we were very clear we were having a girl. And I knew that I needed a girl first to kind of ease me into it because I have a pretty good idea of what kind of father I would be. So I needed a girl to kind of, slow me down and warm, soften me up, if you will. So for me, raising my daughter, I came into fatherhood already with a certain maturity and certain understanding of male-female dynamics. And with a girl, all of that starts with the father. So I've always, since I literally pulled her out of my wife.
Malcolm represented something rare, a man who succeeded without selling out. He proved you could be talented and principled, but the world barely noticed until it was too late. And just like Katt Williams said, the ones who refuse to play along always pay the biggest price. But the most chilling part? This wasn't just Malcolm's story, it's a pattern. Look around and you'll start to see the pattern. Malcolm-Jamal Warner isn't the only one who got sidelined for standing firm. Katt Williams, Dave Chappelle, others who refused to play the clown, wear the dress, or say what the industry wanted them to say, they all got pushed out in some way. Katt has been shouting this for years. He calls it the humiliation ritual. Do what they say, or they make you vanish. Not with violence, but with silence. No invites, no press, no parts. You get erased in plain sight.
Care how people feel about the ritual. It's about, does following the ritual work? Yeah. And so you can fool yourself into thinking there isn't one, but the evidence will be clear. So like when I be like, oh, these guys are wearing dresses, everybody's like, oh, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully.
Malcolm fit that mold. He didn't obey, so they ignored him. And now that he's gone, the same system that ghosted him is using his image for praise, clout, and profit. This isn't just about one man's death. It's about how Hollywood controls the narrative and what happens to those who fight back. And if that's not enough to make you question everything, the way they're rewriting his legacy should be, Malcolm-Jamal Warner didn't chase fame. He chased truth. And in doing so, he showed us what real strength looks like. Quiet, consistent, and unshaken by pressure. His death was tragic, but the way the industry reacted afterward was even more revealing. The same people who ignored him now call him a hero. But that love came too late. Because Malcolm didn't fit their mold, they kept him in the background until it was safe to bring him forward. Katt Williams tried to warn us, and now we see exactly what he meant. This isn't just about Malcolm, it's about how the industry treats anyone who refuses to bow. So we ask again, was this just a freak accident or part of a bigger pattern? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Malcolm pushed aside for staying real? And why does it always take death for the world to finally pay attention? Let us know below. And don't forget, truth always leaves a trail.